What's up, guys? In this video, I want to share with you how my business was able to run completely without me for the entire month of August. And this is a new business in particular, and it had its second biggest record month. And it had it all while I was traveling, enjoying life, taking a vacation. And so I did take some notes on what I want to go over. And like I always say, I really want these videos to be super authentic. I know what it's like to be in the trenches in the early stages of building a business. And by no means was this all by luck, right? It comes down to systems. It comes down to building things the right way. And so really what I wanted to start off with is kind of share a little bit on what the month of August looked like for me as far as what I was able to do with the way I built my business. And then towards the end, I want to give you some practical things I learned to be able to build my business in this way, right? And everyone has different goals in mind, and I'll get into that here shortly. And so I started off with the month of August, the first week. Was twofold. For 3 days, my wife and we went to Pennsylvania to visit some family. I'll try to add some pictures of my trip too while I'm talking, and I'll make some edits. But we were able to go to PA. We went to the state fair, got to see some really cool animals, got to spend time with her family, see some really cool things. So that was like the first 3 days. Then the following day, I went to Scottsdale, Arizona for a business mastermind that I had the privilege and honor of being part of with one of my business partners. And I think like over 40 or maybe 30, I can't remember exactly. There was a good chunk of people, at least 20 people that came to this mastermind, and we spent 4 days in Scottsdale, Arizona. I got to rent a really cool Corvette. And then my friend, he rented a Ferrari, and so we were going back and forth, and he let me drive the Ferrari. I let him drive the Corvette. And honestly, the Ferrari was cool and all, and it definitely had a stronger pull, when you gunned it. But I personally like the Corvette way better overall because of the luxury. It was way more comfortable. It was brand new. I think it was an older Ferrari. Got to meet some really cool people. There was this dude, Luke, who spoke at the event. I got a lot of value from him, and then met him up for a workout session at this gym he goes to. So that was really cool. 2 people got baptized in the pool. That was like the highlight of the trip, being able to share Christ with people. And these 2 people gave their life to Christ, got baptized in the pool. That was really cool. And I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of stuff, but those were some takeaways there. And got to meet some incredible people. Then the following week, I literally got back from that trip on a Saturday night. Sunday night, my wife and we flew to Tampa, Florida. And so the first few days, we stayed in downtown Tampa in this really cool high-rise hotel. And then, we were able to do a lot of really cool things. That Wednesday, we went to this thing called Three Sisters Springs in Florida. If you've never been there, highly recommend you check it out. You pretty much kayak down this river and then to the springs, and then the water's crystal clear, very refreshing, especially when it's super hot during the summer. It's the best way to refresh. Went snorkeling, got to see some really cool things in the water. And then, we got an Airbnb after that in Anna Marie, Florida. And so right on the beach, got to go jet skiing, got to go do a sunset dolphin tour. So we got to see some dolphins and everything. And then towards the end, it started thundering and lightning. And I'm like, God, thank you for your protection. I'm like, this captain better get us back to the dock. And so then we came back on Saturday night. So really awesome trip. And then the following week, I went back to Tampa and had the privilege and honor. Me and my friend, we both got an Airbnb. I was able to get tickets for my brother, my pastor, and so we all hung at the Airbnb. And because of business, I was able to cover the whole trip. And then my partner pitched in split the Airbnb half and half, and we were able to bless a bunch of people. So it was off the charts there. Going to this men's conference where it was just dynamic. It was off the charts. Like the Holy Spirit was moving in a powerful way there. And so, yeah, then I came back, and I mean, if I could be 100%, it was more so like maybe a 3-week trip. But then the last week of August, like I was like, you know what, I'm gonna work this last week, and then I had a stupid cold, and so like I couldn't even work, I couldn't even take calls, you know, and so like I was not expecting that. So it was like 4 weeks essentially of not working on the business, or in the business for that matter. And so I remember going on the trip though, I was like, part of me was like, man, I haven't really been away from my business before, especially this new one that I started not that long ago. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, it's still in the beginning stages. I didn't feel like I had everything automated, and I didn't feel like I had all the systems fully built out. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dang, am I going to make any money this month, right? And you'll find, like, when you're building, you know, a new business, and then you go to travel for a month, I mean, in your mind, you're thinking, like, is this thing going to even make any money, right? And I even had those thoughts. And so I knew I needed to put some additional systems in place before I left for 4 weeks. Or 3 weeks, and you know, 4th week just ended up being one I did anyway. And I'm thinking like, man, this business is not gonna make any money at all. I probably won't make a single dollar. And then literally, you know, the business was producing all during that time, and I had the second largest record month, which was really cool, and didn't work much at all during my traveling and stuff. And so really what I wanted to talk to you guys about is some keys that I've learned over the years of being an entrepreneur since 2020, like some different things that I learned that helped me really be able to grow the business, right? And so one of the things, I'll start it off like this, like number one is getting clear on the type of business you want to build. You know, I think in the Bible, in Habakkuk 2, where it talks about like, you know, climb up to the watchtower and write the vision, make it plain. He that reads it will run with it. And at the end of the day, like they say statistically that 95% of businesses fail within their first 5 years. And then another 95% of the 5% that succeed fail within the next 5 years, right? And so what I've realized is many times when people get in a business, they don't even necessarily have a goal in mind, right? Like they're not even sure what they're trying to build or accomplish. And if you shoot for nothing, you'll hit it every single time and you'll get nothing, right? And so number one is like getting very clear on what type of business do you actually want to build. Right? Do you want to build a lifestyle business? Do you want to build, you know, this massive company with hundreds of employees, hundreds of moving parts? And the reality is not everyone wants to build an Apple. Not everyone wants to build a Walmart. Most people don't even have what it takes or are willing to make the sacrifices necessary to build a company at that level. And so I remember I was listening to this one entrepreneur. He paid this guy $25,000 for some coaching in person. And when he went there, at the time, he was already making, you know, 7 figures a year in his business. He wanted to scale it. And so when he sat with this guy was pretty much telling him like, dude, you're doing everything wrong. Like, if you want to get to XYZ, like, you know, you have to do XYZ to get there. And so as he was going through the coaching session, he actually, like the biggest takeaway from him there was he realized that, wow, there's a difference. And what this guy doesn't understand is I'm not looking to necessarily make millions of dollars and have to work 16-hour days to do it. I want more of a lifestyle business where, you know, I build it. Yeah, I put in a lot of work up front, but eventually, you know, I'm only working 4 hours a week, right? And obviously, give or take, some weeks you're going to work more, some weeks you're going to work less. But the point of that is this, He wanted to build a lifestyle business. He didn't want to build a massive company with all these employees, all these different moving parts. And so you have to get clear, like, what type of business do you actually want to build? Do you want to build a massive company? And the bigger the company is, I mean, Walmart, for instance, their profit margin's only like 4 or 5%, if that, right? And so when you're building a massive company, I mean, sometimes you're not even paying yourself for the longest time because you have the future in mind, right? And so get clear on what type of business you actually want to build, right? For me, when I launched my car detailing business a year and a half ago, I wanted to build it in a way where it required none of my time. Like, I didn't pick up a polisher, I didn't detail any cars. I found a guy who was willing to do all those things, and then my responsibility was packing out the calendar, getting customers, getting them to pay, right? And so literally within 90 days, I hit my first 10K a month while spending only 30 minutes a week managing the business, because I set up all these systems, right? And that was my only goal. I didn't want to build a massive detailing business that makes 100K a month. I just wanted to build something that, would passively make me money, okay? Now, secondly, is you got to get clear on your end goal. I wrote this down. Most people get to the end, right? And at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of people that their goal is only financial, right? Like, and the reality is everyone wants to make 10K a month or 20K or 30K. Like, everyone wants to make more money, right? But the reality is most people don't, for various different reasons. And what I've found is you need to have a big enough why and a big enough purpose, right? Like, there's so many people, their goal is to make a certain amount of money. And some of those people, they get to the end of their life and they ruin relationships. Some of them lost their family in the process, and they think they finally achieved success only to realize, like, it's a box at the end of the tunnel that you open up and nothing's inside, right? And so if your only goal is money related, like, you're going to be very unimpressed when you get the money you think it is you want, right? Because the reality is it's not about the money, it's about the impact, it's about the relationships, it's about the people you're able to help along the way, right? And so it's not just about money, it's about getting clear on your overall goal. Like, why are you in business, right? Like, why are you doing it beyond the fact of, getting to a certain figure amount? Number 3, I put this: build systems, not jobs, okay? Now, what I mean by that is a lot of times when someone starts a business, right, they are wearing all the hats, the jack of everything, master of none. And the key is, when you start making money with your business, you need to figure out, how can you buy back your time? What are things you're spending time and energy on and money on that you shouldn't be focused on if you want to build a business that, runs without you? And because of AI and because of technology, like, it's easier to do this in, 2025, 2026, now that we have things like that, right, with AI. And so build systems. Ask yourself, what are some things that you are doing that are tasks you could either have a technology or software do, or hire someone to do, so that you could actually focus on the thing that's pushing the needle forward in your business. Like, for my business right now, the thing that I'm really good at is marketing. And so if I focus on marketing, I could build everything else out, and I could outsource all the other things I don't really maybe enjoy or want to do. And that's how I began to buy back my time, so I could actually focus on the things that are going to push my business forward, right? Leadership, managing and scaling the team side of things, okay? Number 4 is you need to understand the core pillars of business. Now, for me, I always tell people, simple scales, fancy fails. And, I did hear it from somewhere back in 2020. And it really stuck with me, because I realized, like, for me, I love keeping things super simple, right? Like, I don't want complexity. I don't want hundreds of moving parts. And so over the last 5 years, I've been able to literally put everything I do business-wise into a core framework, right? And everything comes down to really these 4 things. And I'm gonna label them as I would, label them, right? And so number 1 is offers, right? Now, depending on what business you're in, some of you watching this, you might be like, Travis, what do you mean by offers, right? At the end of the day, all an offer is like, what is the service or product or package you are offering people, right? Where they say, hey, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars in return for X, Y, Z, right? Like, I want my car detailed. I want my deck pressure washed, right? So on and so forth. And so number one, it comes down to your offer, right? Your packages, your services, how much are you charging for them? What are people getting? And it's taking an approach where I don't want to get too deep into this, but it's just really getting clear on what are you offering people? Like, who do you feel called to reach with your business, right? Where are they at right now? Where do they want to get to? And how does your service, help them get there, right? Secondly, it comes down to marketing. Now, when it comes down to marketing is all about getting attention, right? Like, how can you get in front of people? Okay, that's what marketing is. I mean, you could have the best restaurant in the world, but if nobody knows about it, do you actually have a business? And so when it comes to marketing, there's really, I like to say, three approaches, okay, if you will. Number one is organic. So, and the way I like to explain it is organic marketing is anything that really requires your time. Like, as an example, door knocking, right? If you're knocking doors, that's a form of organic marketing. If you're posting on social media, if you're posting in Facebook groups, if you're handing out business cards, like, all those things require your time, and you constantly have to be doing something to get a result, right? Secondly is paid marketing, or I also like to call them lever pooling marketing systems. Pretty much a system you set up once and it works over and over again. Now, for me, the two I like to focus on is Google and Meta, okay? Google is intent-based, right? And you could set up Google ads to a landing page that essentially attracts people 24/7, converts them into a lead, and then the third pillar is sales. Now that you're getting all these leads through paid marketing, how do you actually get them to pay you money, right? And so that's where like sales comes in. And then number 4 is automation, right? In order for you to automate your business, you need to build systems and you need to build a team, right? And so I keep it super simple. Now, I hope this video encouraged you. I hope you got something out of it. If you're watching this right now, maybe you're a car detailer, because I do work with tons of car detailers, or you have some sort of local service-based business. Maybe you're a plumber, an electrician, maybe you're a power washer, whatever the case is. And every day, my team and I, we work with car detailers as well as other local service-based businesses that are really looking to scale their business rapidly through marketing, sales, building out the right systems, automations. And so if that's you, I would love to invite you to book a call by clicking the link below this video. And on that call, my team and I, what we're going to do is we're just going to get a better idea on where you're at with your business right now, where you want to get it to. And if we feel like we could help you get to your goal a lot quicker than you kind of just trying to figure it out on your own or working with an agency, we'd love to walk you through like what that looks like, how it works. And if not, no worries, we'll at least point you in the right direction. So hope this video blessed you, and go ahead, book a call, and we'd love to show you how we could help you get your business to the next level.